54% from the field, 47% from three-point range, and I'm asking myself, can they do that during the postseason? Would they be that accurate, that efficient offensively during the postseason? I don't know that to be true. But again, Knicks are not losing to these guys. They're getting their asses kicked. And so knowing that Thursday night is your last meeting of the regular season, you want to send a message. And the fact that Stewart is going to be out too?
Yeah, he's suspended.
So they're both out. You cannot lose this game. If you lose this game at the Garden, even though it's the regular season, at the Garden, without Duran and Stewart, I'm going to lose all hope. I'm going to lose all hope against them, against Detroit. If you can't beat the Detroit Pistons, if you're the New York Knicks, fresh off of 2 ass whippings this year against them, and you go up against them and you cannot beat Detroit without Duran and Stewart, without your front line, there's no reason for me to believe they could beat Detroit come postseason.
That's why I don't think they just have to win. They have to send a message. If you win by 5 against a team that's this short-handed on your home floor, being motivated, that doesn't strike any fear or any doubt in the minds and hearts of the Detroit Pistons. You have to send a message in the same way that they send a message to you.
I'm not going to.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Tomorrow night, the NBA returns from the All-Star break with a marquee matchup that has serious implications for the Eastern Conference. The New York Knicks host the Detroit Pistons at Madison Square Garden, and for Stephen A. Smith, this isn't just another game. This is a measuring stick, a statement opportunity, and potentially a sign of things to come. And his message to the Knicks is simple: you cannot lose this game. Let's set the scene. The Pistons have dominated the Knicks this season. 2 meetings, 2 wins, both by 30-plus points. The first game, the Knicks were without Josh Hart. The second, they were without OG Anunoby and Karl-Anthony Towns. But as Stephen A. points out, that doesn't tell the whole story. The Knicks are winning 78% of their games when their starting 5 is together. When one of them is out, they're barely above .500. That's a concerning stat. This team is built around a specific core, and when that core is compromised, they're vulnerable. But tomorrow, the roles are reversed. The Pistons will be without Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart due to suspensions from the Hornets game. Their front line is depleted. The Knicks have no excuses. The panel sets up the stakes. The Pistons have won 3 straight on the road. They're the number 1 seed in the East. They've already proven they can beat the Knicks convincingly. And they have a young, hungry core that includes Ron Holland and Ozar Thompson, guys who bring toughness and physicality every night. But Stephen A. zeroes in on the man at the center of it all, Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's worst game of the season was in Detroit 2 weeks ago. 4 of 20 with Ozar Thompson hanging off of him. That's the image that sticks. Brunson, the engine of the Knicks offense, completely neutralized by Detroit's defensive pressure. And now, with Duren and Stewart out, the Pistons' defensive identity shifts. It's not just about the bigs anymore. It's about the perimeter pressure from Thompson and Holland. When we talk about toughness, yeah, it's going to be Stewart and Duren, but it's also Ron Holland and Ozar Thompson. You can't get punked again. That's the phrase that will echo: you can't get punked on your home floor. Stephen A. lays out the scenario with the urgency of a man who's been waiting decades for this team to matter. If you lose this game at the Garden, even though it's the regular season, without Duren and Stewart, without your front line, I'm going to lose all hope. I'm going to lose all hope against them against Detroit. If you can't beat the Detroit Pistons, fresh off of 2 ass whippings this year against them, and you cannot beat Detroit without Duren and Stewart, there's no reason for me to believe they could beat Detroit come postseason. This is the kind of fan pressure that only exists in New York. It's not just about the win. It's about sending a message. As one panelist puts it, if you win by 5 against a team that's this short-handed on your home floor, that doesn't strike any fear in the hearts of the Detroit Pistons. You have to send a message in the same way that they sent a message to you. Stephen A. takes it a step further. He's not sure they're going to win at all. I'm not sure they're going to win tomorrow night without their front line. That's how nervous I am. The desperation is palpable. And it's rooted in history. The Knicks haven't been to the finals since 1999. They haven't won a championship since 1973. This team, with Jalen Brunson leading the way, with a deep roster, with home court advantage, represents the best chance they've had in decades. If they can't beat a depleted Pistons team at the Garden, what does that say about their chances in a 7-game series? The panel also touches on the broader narrative. The Pistons see the Knicks as the next step. Every team has that one opponent they have to overcome to advance in the postseason. For Detroit, it's New York. They've already proven they can dominate them. Now they want to prove it's not a fluke. But there's skepticism about the Pistons' long-term viability. One panelist says, "I don't love the Pistons in postseason play. I don't think they have enough offense outside of Cade Cunningham. Who's going to make big shots for them in the playoffs?" It's a fair point. The Derrick Rose Bulls were the last team to make a deep run with one primary creator. And even they had help. The Pistons need a secondary scorer to emerge. But for tomorrow night, none of that matters. What matters is that the Knicks show up, play with force, and prove that the 2 blowouts were aberrations, not a sign of things to come. This is your last meeting of the regular season. You want to send a message. And then, the conversation shifts to Mark Cuban's controversial comments about tanking. Cuban said the NBA has been misguided, that fans don't care about winning every night, they care about experiences. He said tanking isn't the issue, affordability and game presentation are. Stephen A.'s reaction is immediate and visceral, that man is out of his damn mind. He respects Cuban as a friend of the program and acknowledges his philanthropic work, but on this, he's wrong. You cannot have teams purposely losing with gambling in the same specter. That threatens the integrity of the game. He points out that when Cuban's teams were tanking, did he give fans a discount? Did he lower ticket prices for games he knew they weren't trying to win? Of course not. When you sat in the upper deck watching his team trying to lose, did he give you a discount? Did he put on his ticket pack, "Here are the 10 games we're not going to try, so we're charging less"? He did nothing of the sort. The hypocrisy is glaring. And Stephen A. makes the distinction between tanking at the end of a season, a strategy that's been around for decades, and the real scourge of the modern NBA, load management. Tanking at the end of the season when you have an opportunity to get a high draft pick. It's understood. But load management? I'm healthy, but I need rest. I had 4, 5, 6 months off. That's the real issue. The fan pays thousands of dollars, travels to the arena, buys concessions, and finds out at game time that the star is in street clothes. That's unacceptable. Tomorrow night, the Knicks have a chance to make a statement. The Pistons are short-handed. The Garden will be rocking. And Stephen A. will be watching, from Oxford, Mississippi, of all places, keeping his promise to visit the Ole Miss coach. But his heart will be in New York. What do you think? Is this a must-win for the Knicks? Can they send a message without their full front line? And is Cuban right about tanking, or is Stephen A. correct that load management is the bigger problem? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you love raw, emotional fan takes and hard-hitting debate, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.